Newton was hit on 9 plays on Monday Night Football. Since he's entered the league, though, in 2011, Newton has been hit nearly twice as often as any other quarterback. Last night, Cam Newton did not look healthy. He seemed to be playing hurt. So, Stephen A., let me ask you this. How much of the struggles, particularly last night, would you put on Cam Newton?
I'm not going to say very little, but I'm not going to say a lot. It's somewhere in between. I guess if I had to put a number on it, Skip Bayless, it would probably be about 30%. I think that when you look at Cam Newton right now, our sympathies should go out to him. The organization sold him out as far as I'm concerned. How do you sit there? This guy's entering, what is it, Skip, his 4th year or so? How do you sit there and look at this guy and take away his 4 primary options? You're talking about Steve Smith, gone. Brandon LaFell, gone. Ted Ginn Jr., gone. Hickson, gone. You left Olsen there with a rookie out of Florida State and Kelvin Benjamin. And that's all you've given Cam Newton to work with. The offensive line, as far as I'm concerned, was nothing short of offensive. They didn't show up last night. They shouldn't receive checks for their jobs last night. I remember one running play. I forgot who was running it, whether it was Stewart or somebody else. They literally ran, Skip, and the offensive line, the guy had 3 offensive linemen in front of him, and they didn't touch one Eagle defender. The Eagles just came out of nowhere and swarmed them, and the offensive line just ran by, didn't block anybody, didn't touch anybody. This is what Cam Newton has been subjected to. He's not being protected. He has been hit over 500 times. I think number 2 on the list, I think is Matt Ryan or somebody, a little over 200. That's just absolutely disgraceful. They are killing this kid slowly. That's what they're doing. The kid is getting beat up big time, and that's why he's not healthy. And then don't even get me started on the defense. Ron Rivera, why did they give this man a contract extension? He had 1 good year, and because he had that good year, they gave him a multi-year extension. This man's signature is supposed to be defense. This defense right now is ranked 25th. 25th in yards allowed, 29 in points forfeited. Their rushing attack, they're 23rd in the league in both rushing and passing defense. You're trying to tell me the absence of Greg Hardy is all it takes for your defense to look this putrid? These are the Carolina Panthers right now. They don't look enthused. They don't look energized. They don't look eager to play the game of football. They look like they are collecting a check, and they have left Cam Newton to hang and dry. Now, that's not to say he isn't at fault. Holds on to the ball too long. Doesn't seem to be making his reads properly. Not only that, his body language is reminiscent of Jay Cutler, for crying out loud, looking demoralized and depressed half the time. Doesn't seem to galvanize anybody, to inspire anybody. Seems to be a bit petulant, if I may say so. All those things are true. It's just that with the beatdown that he's experiencing on a personal level, I don't know how much I can blame him for coming across that way. If I was getting beat up on a weekly basis, forced to look forward to it, how would I feel?
I'm with you on this one. I'm having a hard time answering this definitively because that was a bad football team we watched last night in an ugly football game. I'm not saying it was Chicago Bears bad, but it's starting to get in the ballpark, especially considering how good they were last year. They won their division last year. Cam led the league in quarterback rushing last year for the 2nd time. To start off with, he's not healthy. It's just pretty clear from watching him roll out last night or try to run away from blitzers. He's gimpy. I don't know what's wrong. I'm not sure if it's still the ankle, if something else has been hurt that we don't know about. But he sure looked gimpy to me, and he didn't look like Cam Newton to me. Now, in the big picture, just for the record, I had no problem before his draft with Cam going number 1 in that draft. But I made the point strongly, he was never the most accurate passer at Auburn. Not the most accurate, but he was a dynamic playmaker with his arm and his legs. Threw some great deep balls and obviously made some great plays with his legs to complement his arm. But the accuracy will come and it will go. And then I've said this to you before, Stephen A., but I think it bears another mention. Remember those first 2 games of his pro career at Arizona? He throws for 422. And then against that bad man that is Aaron Rodgers at Carolina the next week, he threw for 432. Now, in that game, he threw 3 interceptions, and it dropped his QBR clear down to 32 on a scale of 100. But but the yardage totals were so sensational that I think we all fell into the early trap of saying, uh-oh, he's got next. Here he comes, Tom Brady. Here he comes, Peyton Manning. Here he comes, Drew Brees. And he's not that guy. So if you don't compliment Cam with a decent, at least a decent defense, which they no longer have, and a solid run game, which they no longer have, he is going to struggle. So he now leads the league in overthrows with 53. And last night he had 4 more just flat-out overthrows. Throwing a little bit off his back foot, maybe being a little careless with the ball, just kind of flinging it up too often for grabs. That's Cam Newton. But again, if you put him in the right situation with the defense and the run game as they had last year, and a better offensive line with Jordan Gross, and a couple of more fairly legitimate receivers to complement the young Kelvin Benjamin, who's all he's got now, except for the tight end Greg Olsen, well, then he can be very good, very good. He can be a Pro Bowl caliber quarterback. But he, as we all know, Stephen A., I don't think Cam is long on what I would call underdog intangibles, like a against all odds fire, like he's going to take his scrappy underdog team and beat you. He doesn't play like that.
I agree.
Yeah, it's not that he's a front runner, but you need to let him. If he gets a foot on your throat, he will step down on your throat. He will bury you. And with this team, like you talk about, his posture looks bad. On the bench, it still looks bad. He doesn't look like that dynamic leader that's going to pick up this team and put it on his shoulder pads and carry it forward.